All right, I wanted to hop on here real quick and just go through the Twitter timeline, just real quick, see what's on here, and I would just give my perspective.
Jamal,
Tell me this wrong. Don't mean anybody should do it or that it's advice a person should take. Just my opinion. So don't get mad at my opinion, especially if I have facts and it's true. But I just wanted to start with this. This is something I saw here, and it's kind of crazy. It's about a father and daughter dance, but for incarcerated fathers, which I kind of wonder, like, what are they doing to actually get the family back on track, so it's not a disadvantaged family, But I'll just play this, and then I'll kind of give my opinion on it.
Jamal, thanks. In your Positively Richmond, a local film is raking in the awards, and now its hopeful yet heartbreaking story will soon be heading to a TV screen near you.
And 8 News anchor Deanna Albritton sat down with the local youth advocate behind this documentary. She joins us now live with more details on the expected impact right here in Central Virginia. Deanna.
That's right, Heather. At the center of those conversations were scenes that looked just like the ones you're about to see here, what you might see in cities across Central Virginia, girls all dressed up, dancing with their fathers. But these fathers are behind bars. It's their relationship with their daughters that's moving audience.
Now, when I see this, I had to stop this. When I see this, I have to wonder, like, to me, just depending on who is putting this on, I would just wonder the genuine need to do good or genuine want to do good, which is, sad to say, considering that they probably are fellow Americans, but, this country has a history of, racism, and plus there's a lot of haters in this country who, no matter what the race is. So we just got everybody. You shouldn't ever, to me, just with so many scams out here, you should always trust but verify, or you can't just get a benefit of the doubt all the time.
And even
People
critics
lie.
to tears. It's moving audiences and even critics to tears.
Okay, just be very careful. I'm gonna leave you to it. All right.
There's no indication it's anything but an ordinary Wednesday at Girls for a Change on Buford Road. That's how Angela Patton, the founder of the youth development organization, wants it to be. The core of the mission, the same, even as she's being talked about all over the world for her father-daughter dances.
Father-daughter dances are so important in helping uplift our girls and raise young girls.
In these dances, though, the daughters are getting a chance to hug and dance with a father they usually don't even get to touch. The girls' fathers are in jail.
First time ever wearing a suit, honestly.
Planning began with the first father-daughter dance for girls in her Camp Diva program.
All right.
Many of the girls, shocked to learn some of their friends' dads wouldn't attend one until they'd served their sentences, were determined to find a solution.
Which made so many people who experienced these dances in the jail forget where they were, for a moment.
The dances served as a celebration of completing a father responsibility program. And after the first few years in the Richmond and Petersburg jails, the dances served to bring Patton's effort more attention. ABC World News Tonight, magazine covers, and this emotional TED Talk.
I have had my father in my life always. He's even here today.
Her father's eyes filled with as much pride as they were tears. Her talk moving several filmmakers too.
I know, that's okay.
I actually chose to work with Natalie Ray as a co-director on the film because she was the only woman and she was also the only one who understood that the girls needed to be at the center of this. It was going to be a love story between the connection and the bonding between a father and a daughter.
And the film, Daughters, wooed audiences and critics alike, claiming 2 top awards at the prestigious Sundance Film Festival.
Daughters.
And now she has a deal with Netflix to bring Daughters into your living room.
You know, the work is a lot and it is heavy. You know, I've been to, you know, like I said, 15 dances in the jail, and I've seen the film multiple times because at Sundance, your film is screened about 6 to 8 times, and I cry every one. And it, you know, always makes me emotional because I want to do more than the dance.
And more than a film.
Hopefully, not only are we able to make some changes right here in my hometown, Richmond, Virginia, but this just spreads. You know, this is when you want something to spread.
Freestyle with your daughter, come on. All the daughters freestyle with your daddy, come on, come on.
I want it to be contagious. Absolutely.
Already, attention from this film has helped Patton fund an education fund for the girls featured in the documentary. She's also seeing more movement on her local impact campaign to provide support for her girls with similar experiences, and even the girls who don't exactly have the same experience but have been instrumental in helping spread the awareness around this documentary.
I gotta tell you, as a dad, it was emotional for me watching this piece because the connection between a father and daughter, it's a strong connection.
Yeah, and it's been actually so strong, Eric, that she tells me 95% of the fathers who participated in this program have not gone back to jail.
Oh,
That's how impactful this is.
And this has been a point to not go back to jail.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Really good report.
yes.
Emotional and hopefully life-changing for everyone involved. Thank you.
Good job.
Well, with that, a couple of
More
things that I kind of
details
got
on
from it, you know, just looking at it, being able to see it more than once and kind of try to focus on it. And I can see some of the good things about this program. 95%, they say never go back to prison. So, I mean, that's pretty good. But it's, you know, I kind of wonder why they went to prison in the first place. But with this system, a lot of times, you know, with some of the negative images that a lot of us see, you have to take responsibility. But same time, that's why it's called trapping. People pretty much fall for their tricks for whatever reason. That's why it's best to be educated and, you know, and have as much information as possible so you can make better decisions. Because I mean, just from the history, we've had things hidden from us and they've lied to us about stuff. So you should always, to me, as much as possible, things have to be called into question, and you have to really seek enlightenment on your own, which is like studying and try to understand things. I mean, that's what I try to do, ideally. But you know, I pretty much just have to. I mean, just like anything, you just have to really hold yourself accountable. But so some of the other things, it's just you know, I was wondering why was just a program for girls, and if they had something like this for boys also, because it would be beneficial for boys. It seemed like it would be. If it's 95%, where they don't go back to jail, let's do it for the boys and see what that can do. Because ultimately, if this is a country that, you know, claims not to be racist and claims not to, you know, want to hold certain people down, then ultimately we would not want to have a bunch of people in the prisons. We want like productive people in society. But there's some people that have the opportunity to do good and they still mess up things and do bad things. And, you know, that's just how it is. To me, it's just best to get away from people like that because they just mess up stuff a lot of times. But so I also wanted to go. Oh, well, you know, another thing, real quick, is I wrote down in the notes that with these, you know, social services and stuff like that, when they are supposed to be helping the families, like how often are they really pushing for the mother and father to get together, unless it's like a super toxic environment, because that would seem like that would be the way to give the kid the best advantage. Kids are usually disadvantaged when they have a lack of income and a single parent. So with two incomes and two parents, it just make more sense because two against one is better as far as like in competition. So I mean, to me, that's why I say a lot of these social services, man, they're not really there to, or they whatever they there for is like they not as effective as they could be because it's a lot of complaints. And there's black people that work down there as white people. So some of those white people, they some of those black people might get around white people and start complaining about white people. But those same black people will sell out other black people and sell out other people, knowing it, meaning like they know stuff is wrong, and they still participate in it. But then they basically throwing stones and then holding their hands, which is why hey, integrity. What I've learned is just from our perspective is integrity is rare. It's hard to find. I mean, so you guys have to think like people give most people really worship money. They say they're religious, but really the thing that takes precedent is money. If somebody else has money, they respect that person more a lot of times, and if somebody is giving them money, they'll compromise. People people just treat people with money differently because we have people aren't really honest about how they view money. Money takes precedent over their religious beliefs just from their actions with greed and things of that nature. And we just talked about all races, not that I'm not immune to any of that stuff, but you know, and then if a person, it's easy for a person to sell out if they lack integrity. If they lack conviction, they lack integrity. If they cowards, because anybody can be scared and anybody can be a coward in a moment, but the coward is the person that consistently through their actions is a coward. But so I saw this and I noticed that I'll just play it and then give my opinion here.
Pat for meeting to hear asking me to be the moderator.
This is Fat Joe, Kamala Harris, and somebody else. Now, to me, I take this as Fat Joe speaking for black people, and Fat Joe is not black, so he can't speak for me. Well, first of all, a lot of these black people can't speak for me because a lot of them slave minded when you are in paid off or both. But let me just get to this and then I'll give my commentary.
Asking me to be the moderator, asking me to be the moderator, the ear to the streets, hear you out. I'm very big on the healthcare price transparency. But today, when the vice president calls me, I stop everything. So I came to hear this out. I'm sure this is going to be a very impactful meeting to hear all your impactful stories. And we're going to keep this intimate, as I was asked. So, press, we thank you for being here. But
hold on, I'm gonna give a statement.
Okay.
But I thank you, Fat Joe, for being here and taking the time, but really for your voice on so many critical issues. In addition to
these people are weirdos, man.
Thank you for being here.
They just lie. Just got to lie.
Moderator.
How could a person like themselves if they have to pretend to be something else all the time? That's my whole thing. But let's just get into this, man. He said, Fat Joe said he was the ear to the streets. Maybe he is. I don't know. But I'm kind of wondering what that is. What does he mean by that?
Asking me to be the moderator. moderator, the end of the streets, hear you out. You know, I'm very big on the healthcare.
He said he very big on healthcare. Oh goodness! It's like so, this seemed like he was like had to rehearse some lines or trying to remember some lines or some talking points.
Price transparency, care price transparency.
He said he big on healthcare price transparency.
Care price transparency. But
He just throwing out words, man. These people, they just waste their time. Just get to the real serious people, man. You try to talk to these people, man, they got very little patience. So you just got to get to the point. You doing all this, well, real business people, they not doing this to the people that's giving them money. They getting real specific in how they can get stuff done.
Today, when the vice president calls me, I stop every day.
So the vice president got his number.
When the vice president calls me,
and well, what is like what does he ask for since he got her number? What is it? Because this is the thing, like people be having these politics confused. This lady comes in the office and she get richer. No, she's supposed to serve the people. And you supposed to have a demand. She don't have good ideas.
me, I stop every day. So I came to hear this out, and I'm sure this.
Man, like these rappers, they say that Joe has said some of the stuff he say is not real. So you got to look at it as entertainment, and he's an entertainer. So entertainers have a character. He might be in character. That's how I'm thinking. Like this dude might be in character because it just don't add up. He all rah when it come to black people, but when it comes to this Indian lady and these some of these white folks around here, he's very buttoned up and well as buttoned up as he can be, and but he ain't talking that crazy stuff. So it's like, whoa, well, which Joe we get? Who are we seeing here? Which character?
It's going to be a very impactful meeting.
Impactful. What does that mean? See, these people just throw out these vague words and leave it up to you to interpret. Hopefully that you're not asking them more questions because the thing is most people aren't entrepreneurs or at least aren't taught how to like run business and really be solutions oriented. We're not really taught how to go through a step of solving problems. So I guess I say that to say this, like, so when you just hear something, a lot of times if it sounds good, then you just go along with it. But see, the thing is, people sometimes are lying, and we understand we have to look at a pattern of behavior, right? These politicians really haven't come through. So, and I'm not saying they good or bad people, but you gotta if you want to get results, you have to start changing up. Some things. If we're not really getting any change in this country, the country is kind of going down. I think a lot of us can agree on that, or at least there's a lot that can be improved. And these people, you can't rely on the politicians to come up with the good ideas. The people have to be the ones that come up with the ideas and tell the politicians to do it. And if they not, then they working against you more than likely. Because some of these people they're not good people. I mean, it's scandal after scandal after scandal. Black, white, Asian, whatever, Hispanic, scandal after scandal with these politicians, male, female, and whatever else. So then they bring out Fat Joe, like, man, it's just how come they don't ever go? Notice they never go, and I'll say I don't think they're really genuine because how come they don't ever go to like the black economists and some of the black thinkers, and they don't do that. They have a photo out with a rapper who's not even black, which is kind of disrespectful to me. Some people can know they got disrespectful and try to just pretend they don't they don't know they're getting disrespected just so they don't have to do nothing and be embarrassed. I don't know how many scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Just it is what it is.
To hear all your impactful stories, and we're gonna keep this intimate.
Now he said he's gonna keep this intimate, but there's cameras all around. And then what? If you speaking for the people, What need to be intimate for? Show us how to negotiate. You know what I'm saying? It just this is BS. To me, it looked like BS. I don't know, but maybe I'm biased.
Keep this intimate. So I was asked. So, press, we thank you for being here. But
Hold on, I'm gonna give a statement too.
okay.
But I
Fat Joe looked like he is happy he got through that.
Okay.
but I thank you, Fat Joe.
They don't want to mess up the line.
But I thank you, Fat Joe, for being here and taking the time, but really for your voice on so many critical issues. In addition to you.
So she said she values Fat Joe's opinion on so many issues, and I wonder what issues that she's talking about. Because I'm guessing he was talking about like the Puerto Rican community. Because I don't assume that he would speak on behalf of me.
On so many critical issues. In addition to the gift of your artistry, I thank you for being here.
So is the president cool with some of the lyrics of Fat Joe? Come on. But I just posted out here. Fat Joe says he's the ear to the street. That doesn't mean he speak for black people. So I kind of went into that. But this is like, it's just like when they were speaking to Cardi B. Like, it's just embarrassing. So I'll do these last two.
Racism. We were born into a racial.
So this is something I saw on Libs at TikTok. It says TikToker goes on racist tirade against white people. Says all whites are oppressors simply because they're white, and it's life-threatening if white people are not actively working to be anti-racist. It says white people are the only group you're allowed to be racist towards. So Lives at TikTok, I guess she's saying that he's being racist towards white people, which goes into that question Chris Cuomo asked Tucker Carlson about white people basically being in power but wanting to harm white people, which is what I've said. Like, oh, it's just like the bully. Some white people want to be racist towards black people, but then there's other white people that's pretty much kicking your butt. You know what I'm saying? And then you want to talk about black people. Like, dude, these folks on y'all too. Just a hater. Maybe I just shared this. Maybe I just shared it on my timeline. But it's here it is right here. It says the people in charge is mostly white. That people in charge are mostly white, but they hate whites. And it says the same question. How come the CCP elites were mostly from rich families, but they hated the rich? Here's the answer. They don't hate white or rich. They love power for the sake of getting power. They depend on dividing people and turning them against each other. It is no Marxist tactic, divide, conquer, and rule. But see, the thing is, even the people that aren't Marxists are haters and have that same mentality. It's just some people are like that. Some people are haters and they're gonna be jealous regardless. Even if they know people are trying to divide us, they'll be the same people that try to divide people. In some cases. So it's basically just because a lot of times the racists are complaining about other races.
I would
basically treating them bad when they okay with
I
other
would say
people
this-
getting treated bad. So if you're okay with people getting treated bad, then you have to be okay with yourself getting treated bad. Are you a hypocrite?
no black.
And it's
And
not
I don't
gonna,
wanna
it's just going to get worse for you. And it has, but hey, some people don't care. Some people, it's just like if you tell a person that smokes cigarettes, they'll give you all kind of excuses, even though they know they shouldn't do it.
And I don't want to live in a country where we punish people because the people in charge don't like their skin color. Because we've lived in that country before, and I don't want to live in a country where we punish people because the people in charge don't like their skin color. Because we've lived in that country before, and I don't want to live in it again.
So how is it that the people in charge are
Now, he said we lived in that country before, and I don't want to live in it again.
mostly white, but they hate whites?
Well, that's a very deep question, and I
It's
would
the only
say,
kind in charge are mostly white.
and I don't want to live in a country where we punish people because the people in charge don't like their skin color. Because we've lived in that country before, and I don't want to live in it again.
So how is it that the people in charge are mostly white, but they hate whites?
Well, that's a very deep question, and I
It's the
would
only
say,
kind I
I
ask.
would say this. I mean, I don't know the answer, but I would say this just as I travel, to the extent that I do. I have never one time been yelled at by a non-white person. Not one time. Not one time. No black person has ever yelled racist. I've had way more. Never. I've never had a Spanish person or Asian person, any non-white, ever do that. It's been about 99% 32-year-old female white lawyers. I'm just saying.
What do they say?
Racist! And I don't want to live in a country where we punish people.
Well, I mean, that's just the psychosis when you bring racism into a society, because the people that claim to be superior have to do a lot of denial, and that's not always good for the mental. Not if you want to solve problems.
And I don't want to live in a country where we punish people because the people in charge don't like their skin color.
Now he's saying you could take this a couple different ways, but we know that it's white people that don't like their skin color and will project that on the other people. So
because we've lived in that country before, and I don't want to live in it.
And it's black people, that don't like their skin color. There's a lot of people that don't like certain things about them, and sometimes, they project that onto other people, and it's negativity.
So how is it that the people in charge are mostly white?
And this is the thing, they never really address this. A lot of people don't. They blame Jews, but yeah, Jews are white, and even if you ain't talking about the Jews, there's plenty of white people that aren't Jews that have committed genocide against white people, and really, like held other white people down. So, like I said, I mean, all parties in that, just a denial.
How is it that the people in charge are mostly white, but they hate whites?
Well, that's a very deep question, and I
It's
would
the only
say,
kind I ask.
I would say,
how is it that the people in charge are mostly white, but they hate whites?
well,
There's
that's a,
people that ain't haters, man. They celebrate people. They ain't trying to undermine people in themselves. Like it's just haters, big time haters. Like the dude on There Will Be Blood. Some people they just don't like to see people do good. It's a weird mindset.
Charge are mostly
That's why they have to be very deceptive because nobody will really want to be around them.
white, but they hate whites.
well, that's a very deep question, and I
It's the
would
only
say,
kind I
I
ask.
would say this. I mean, I don't know the answer, but I would say this just as I travel, to the extent that I do. I have never one time been yelled at by a non-white person. Not
That might be true. It might be not. Just look at his reputation and not like he hasn't lied before, but it is what it is. But this is like, to me, this is like he asked a question I never really had heard white people ask before, and a lot of people, to me, it's like a lot of people don't really recognize that. Like, dude, they want to blame us for stuff. It's not like black people are perfect or any group is perfect, but sometimes people will blame black people for blaming other people, and some people might have a point, and some people might just be blaming other people. But it definitely goes on in the white community where they blame other people, but it's other white people that's actually screwing them over.
Hate whites.
well, that's a very deep question.
How is it that the people in charge are mostly white, but they hate whites?
Well, that's a very deep question. And I
It's
would
the only the people in charge are mostly white, but they hate whites.
well, that's a very
Just self-destructive. So that
We're
brings me
not
back to
taught
this.
to be racist. Racism is not a choice. You were not taught to be racist. You, fellow white person, like everybody else, were born into a world that you did not create. Everything you inherited, whether biologically or socially, was not your choice. And that's the same thing with racism. We were born into a racial caste system in which white-bodied individuals are the oppressor class. Whether you wanted that designation or not, that's the system that you and I were born into. We had no choice in the matter. However, once you become aware of how things are, once you've become educated about your role in how things are, then you have a choice. Do you want to stand firm and uphold the system you've inherited, fighting with anyone and everyone that brings up privilege, equity, justice, racial oppression? Or do you want things to change? More often than not, those of us that are white are so preoccupied with trying to separate ourselves from the group to justify and set ourselves apart as the good or safe white person. But when you live in a racial caste system, there's no such thing. We're all complicit in upholding the system until we start pushing against it and fight to dismantle it like our lives depend on it, because they do.
No, my experience of dealing with people, a large number of people, not all, but a lot, it's a large number of people that, actually, they kind of haters. At some point, we kind of all are. Like, if you're rooting against the team, stuff like that. But just generally speaking, a lot of people aren't really happy for other people. And maybe that's just my perspective. I could be wrong, and I'm not saying that people just go around hating, but a lot of times people get that jealous bug, even if it just pop up. And a lot of people just say anything for clout. A liar tell a half truth for clout. And really, they'll just do it even without clout a lot of times. But let's go back and kind of see what he said there. See what I got from it.
Racism is not a choice. You were not taught to be racist.
Well, some people were taught to be racist because this one dude said he was raised racist. But this is his perspective.
Fellow white person, like everybody else, were born into a world that you did not create. Everything you inherited, whether biologically or socially, was not your choice. And that's the same thing with racism. We were born into a racial caste system.
Now, I think we can all agree that we were, are in a racial caste system, or at least at one point this country was, and this country still hasn't done everything to make up for that. A lot of times it's like people like, well, this is what we want you to be good with, and then they say, well, the debt is paid, but no, the debt isn't paid. You can't tell somebody you don't. It's wild. Like I said, a lot of these people, man, they're not genuine, man. They just haters, and they'll make up excuses why they don't want to see you get what you have earned, especially if it means, because a lot of people worry about other people. So if it means that they're gonna see you doing better than them, a lot of people don't like that. Even if they can do good and you can do good, but it's perceived to them that it's better, they rather just ruin it or be the one, or be the only one. And if it's the only one that is ruined, then they don't really care about that a lot of times.
System in which white-bodied individuals are the oppressor.
Now he said white body, but he's not really white. So like, what is white? What is black? Like, when you really, I guess it's just a classification of melanated people and a classification of non-melanated people in America.
Whether you wanted that designation or not, that's the system that you and I were born into. We had no choice in the matter. However, once you become aware of how things are, Once you've become educated about your role in how things are, then you have a choice.
Yeah, but most people, they're not gonna do the right thing because if it's take courage or if it's difficult or get people outside of their comfort zone, most people are resistant, and we don't have our schools don't really teach us how to get out of a comfort zone and things of that nature.
Do you want to stand?
Our school don't they don't our schools don't pump out brilliant minds as a rule. It's like an exception, which is backwards to me. If you want to call it school and education, it's a waste of time if you're not really getting anything out of it that you can use and you know create a life that you would like to create as long as you're putting in the hard work and stuff like that. So, but that ain't how it's really set up. And I say that because no matter the race, people are not satisfied with the results the school gave them in many cases, or at least too many.
Firm and uphold the system you've inherited, fighting with anyone and everyone that brings up privilege, equity, justice. Then you have a choice. Do you want to stand firm and uphold the system you've inherited, fighting with anyone and everyone that brings up privilege, equity, justice, racial oppression? Or do you want things to change? More often than not, those of us that are white are so preoccupied with trying to separate ourselves from the group to justify and set ourselves apart as the good or safe white person. But when you live in a racial caste system, there's no such thing. We're all complicit in upholding the system until we start pushing
Yeah, if you deny that the system is there, you're not going to do anything about it. If you acknowledge it is there, then you kind of are upholding it.
against it and fight to dismantle it like our lives depend on it.
And that's
Because
with
they
any
do.
race. But I mean,
It's racial
he's
oppression.
about a lot of people don't want equality. There's a lot of white people or any groups that don't want equality. So that's the whole point of being a white supremacist. Like, why would you be a white supremacist if you wanted equality?
How things are.
So it's like this dude, I just questioned his motive, which is valid. That's the valid thing to do. That's the wise thing to do. And then this is the last one right here.
Legal, they need to pay taxes.
What do you think is going to happen with the migrant crisis here in New York City?
It's getting bad because they're also.
Now this is an immigrant. Talked about she's been here for a while, but she don't like that these illegals are here. And I wonder what's her base. What's her how can she kind of like what's her logic and what's her basis for being able to have the authority to speak on this matter?
They're not legal.
Because if she don't want them here, then people before her can say we don't. We don't necessarily want her here.
They're not legal. If they were legal,
that's not what I'm saying. But if you come over here and you trying to undermine people and break the law, well, you can break the law back in your home country, and that's why your home country is messed up because you're breaking that law breaking stuff. You're breaking that law breaking stuff over here. We got enough people to break the law from here that we need to handle.
legal.
We don't
They're
need
not.
people piling on.
They're not legal. If they were legal, they need to pay taxes.
What do you think is going to happen with the migrant crisis here in New York City?
It's getting bad because they're also next to my house and they piss on my door. I could tell that they're gang wars. I mean, they're tattooed up to head to toe. The people pissing on my door, they're tattooed up head to toe. And there's no law against illegal migrants committing crimes. So again, it's lawlessness, non-payment of taxes, siphoning all our money to their native countries, and it's just killing our economy. Eric Adams just said he's going to give 4,000 migrants jobs. That means 4,000 civilians have less jobs. It's just not fair to Americans. It's getting scary. Right now, people in the Bronx are getting attacked. People Upper East Side, 2 of them just got attacked, and it's illegal to buy mace. It's illegal to protect yourself. I've lived here 50 years. And this is not fair that we feel unsafe in our homeland and our own country is not defending us. And there's nobody to protect us. The police can do nothing. They told us they can do nothing because there's no law against them.
You know what I realized when I was watching that everybody has a different relationship and perspective of America, depending on what ethnic group they are. Black Americans have a different perspective and a different relationship to the land, and so do these people. So they have a different outlook. They have, a different view and concept of America. Plus, they get in the fake American history when they come to our schools and watch the TV. They just become a lot of times clones.
They're not legal. If they were legal, they need to pay taxes.
So she saying they're not legal, but we don't necessarily need immigration at this point anyway. Not with the it's ridiculous, man. At one point, is it too many? At one point, do we need to really vet people? Well, it's now. The time been passed.
What do you think is going to happen with the migrant crisis here in New York City?
It's getting bad because they're also next to my house and they piss on my door.
So she don't want them next to her house, even though she's an immigrant also. But she did say they was pissing on her door, stuff like that.
I could tell that they're gang wars. They piss on my door. I could tell that they're gang wars. I mean, they're tattooed up to head to toe. The people pissing on my door, they're tattooed up head to toe. And they're not, there's no law against illegal migrants committing crimes.
She said there's no law. I'm not about to look it up right now, but I wonder about that.
Committing crimes. So again, it's lawlessness, non-payment of taxes, siphoning all our money to their native country.
Yeah, that's messed up.
All our money to their native countries, and it's just killing our economy. Eric Adams just said he's going to give 4,000 migrants jobs. That means 4,000 civilians have non-payment of taxes.
If they siphoning the money to their home country, I mean, they're not really doing a good job of building it up.
Siphoning all our money to their native countries, and it's just killing our economy. Eric Adams just said he's going to give 4,000 migrants jobs.
That's crazy. What disrespect. That shows that he puts the priority over migrants, over the people. Who voted for this guy? How come he has been recalled? That's wild. That's what I'm saying. You can't get, and these people get smacked in the face. Just wild. Yeah. Total disrespect. Some people just cool getting crumbs. Just don't make waves or anything like that. They'll take the crumbs. And maybe they just ain't about to do anything special anyway.
He's going to give 4,000 migrants jobs. That means 4,000 civilians have less jobs. It's just not fair to Americans. It's getting scary. Right now, people in the Bronx are getting...
How could a politician even come to a group of people and say he's going to do that? Like, give a 40... It's just wild. It's just wild.
It's getting...
So I'm saying you can't twist these people arm and get them to see logic.
It's scary. Right now, people... Adams just
logic
said
is second nature. It's not first nature. It's people are emotional.
he's going to give 4,000 migrants jobs.
And going off the environmental programming.
That means 4,000 civilians have less jobs. It's just not fair to Americans. It's getting...
One thing I noticed is a lot of what I've seen is some videos of immigrants that don't like other people coming over here. But then if a natural born citizen, person that's a Black American, that's a non-immigrant, were to say something like that, it's an issue. That's the tactic of the freeloader, making excuses to stay instead of getting their own place.
It's scary. Right now, people in the Bronx are getting attacked. People Upper East Side, 2 of them just got attacked, and it's illegal to buy mace. It's illegal to protect yourself. I lived here 50 years, and this is not fair. That we feel unsafe in our home.
Yes, the cases like this, you just got to do a recall. People got to get together and do a recall because he is not working for the benefit of the people.
That we feel unsafe in our homeland, and our own country is not defending us.
In our homeland.
Safe in our homeland, and our own country. That we feel unsafe in our homeland, and our own country is not defending us.
And she has an accent.
And there's nobody to protect us. The police can do nothing. They told us they can do nothing because there's no law against them.
She said the police told her they could do nothing. No law against them.
And there's nobody to protect.
People just take orders, just like the Nazis. I'm just obeying orders. They can be Republican, Democrat, conservative, progressive, whatever you want to call them. Christian, Jewish, Muslim. If they got a job, they're just gonna follow the orders in many cases, and that's what they're gonna tell you when they know they're selling you out. They're just gonna say, "I'm just doing my job. I'm just following orders." A lot of people are followers.
Protect us. The police can do nothing. They told us they can do nothing because there's no law against them.
But they can arrest you for jaywalking. If you back on child support, they can arrest you. If you back on taxes, they can arrest you. Wow. A lot of the baby boomers really dropped the ball.
They're not legal.
Oh, I'm gonna do one more because I saw this. And I said, don't even mess with a girl like this. If you're dealing with a person like this or a girl like this, they're just super contrary to everything, can't ever be wrong, and don't listen and just here. I'll play this.
No, it's not even bad.
Okay, you're in this lane. You wanna keep
What
it this
lane?
lane. You want to keep it this lane right here.
Okay, I thought you weren't talking about the bike. Oh.
Okay. Stop,
Oh my
stop,
God,
stop.
I got you.
Stop, Jesse!
Where's
Stop!
Oh my God.
Jesse, stop!
No.
Now I've dealt with people like this. They're just super contrary, super argumentative, can't ever be wrong. Again, it's just best to just get rid of them. I mean, I won't say get rid of them, but avoid them. Just waste your time. Make life harder than it need to be. Life can be challenging enough. To me, I'd rather just be around people to make it easier. If people to just go, look at this.
No, it's not even bad.
Okay, you're in this lane. You wanna keep
What
it this
lane?
lane. You want to keep it this lane right here.
Okay, I thought you weren't talking about the bike. Oh.
Now she talking back. Just you'll need to explain when you get into this talking back stuff. Like just she's supposed to be following directions, and whoever the dude is that's giving her instruction, she can't take instruction, right? You know what I'm saying? She's hard headed.
Talking about the bike. Oh.
Okay. Stop,
Oh my
stop,
God,
stop.
I got you.
Stop!
Now he's saying stop, and she said I got you. What is stop? Just stop being. This somebody that you know. When I see this, I'm like, oh, this person kind of for me. I don't know, but it seems kind of like they unstable to do something like this. It's ridiculous.
I got you.
Stop!
He said stop. She said I got you. She just. This is
I got you.
Stop, Jesse! Stop!
like no control, no poise.
Where's
Not a listener. I'm not judging this person because I mean there's been times I didn't listen and had poor judgment, but all this stuff, the contrary, contrarianism, and just she's supposed to be following directions and she giving an excuse. Just do this. Just do what you need to do.
Okay,
The direction was given. The explanation ain't needed unless it's asked for.
Okay, you're in this lane. You wanna keep
What
it
lane?
You want to keep it this lane right here.
Okay, I thought you weren't talking about the bike. Oh.
Okay.
She too busy talking to listen.
Right here.
Okay, I thought you weren't talking about the bike. Oh.
Okay. Stop,
Oh my
stop,
God,
stop.
I got you.
Stop, Jesse! Stop!
Dude, I would never drive with this chick again. Dude, better not. All the people in there better not ever drive with that girl again. That's wild. But that was a post said Andrew Tate isn't wrong about female drivers. Let me see if I can see what Andrew Tate said about female drivers real quick. It says never let her drive again. Right. I see something on Reddit that says women are bad at driving. Because of my personal experience, all my exes sucked at driving. They were women. Well, I wonder if he has a point there, if that's just him being misogynistic or something like that. but both can be true. It be false also, but yeah. So I just wanted to go over these couple of things here. Oh, this is something else, and I'll probably get to this another time. But it says a broke bartender elected to Congress assumes office in 2019 with a salary of 155,000 is now worth 29 million. That sounds like a hustle. Sound like a hustle to me. All right.